in the Cotswolds today, just about to cross a tributary of the River Evenlode in a valley east of Little Rollright. Hello and welcome to the ride. As ever, it's good to have you along. Climbing out of the valley now to a road running left and right, which broadly aligns with a prehistoric trackway known as the Jurassic Way, not to be confused with the new recreational footpath of the same name. The ancient trackway followed an escarpment of limestone which stretches from the Humber estuary all the way down to Wiltshire and so to the stone circles of Avebury and Stonehenge. And here I am at that very ridge road or ridgeway. Straight on at this junction, the land falls away quite steeply to the village of Long Compton. When traffic allows, however, I'm turning right along the ridgeway. Given its prominent position, this ridgeway has long been an historical demarcation line. Still today, it marks the boundary between Oxfordshire and Warwickshire. Also on this ridgeway are landmarks of immense prehistorical importance. And up ahead is where I pull in to take a look. The Rollright stones, and of these, here is the stone circle known as the King's Men. This stone circle is late Neolithic, about 2,500 years BC. One of many stone circles across Britain, it's always presumed that they had some sort of religious significance, but no one really knows for certain. A stone circle on the way towards the bigger stone circles of Avebury and Stonehenge might mean something. The location offers tremendous views across the valley I've just crossed, and over there are more historic stones worth seeing. It's a short walk, about a quarter of a mile, to the prehistoric burial chamber known as the Whispering Knight's Dolmen. The oldest of the stones, this is early Neolithic, about 3,500 years BC, 1,000 years older than the stone circle. This burial chamber would originally have been covered with a mound of earth, long since worn and washed away. Across the Ridgeway Road is the newest of the Rollrights, the King's Stone, erected around 1,500 BC. Again, the question is why? No one knows. Back on the Ridgeway Road now, heading towards Stow-on-the-Wold. Despite its significance, since prehistoric times, this road was never turnpiked and even now remains unclassified. Here is an old turnpike, however, the Chapel on the Hill and Bourton on the Hill turnpike of 1731, now the A44. Sad to see the old Cross Hands pub closed there. From this I turn onto the A436, once part of the Foss and Cross turnpike of 1755. Turning right now towards the village of Chastleton. The name derives from the Old English castell, meaning a cairn or a boundary marker, Chastleton, Chastleton. Still today, this lane forms part of the boundary between Oxfordshire and Gloucestershire. Looking for a track now to a farm on the right. And here it is. I'm heading for another prehistoric site that's marked on the OS map, but is rarely visited. Those trees up ahead mark the earthworks of a round structure known as Chastleton Barrow. But Barrow, normally a burial mound, it is not. It's more likely a fort. It's certainly a large enough landmark to have been a serious boundary marker itself over the centuries. The land is on a prominent site, a high point on the same ridgeway as the Rollright stones. But this is nothing like as old as the Rollrights. The fort has been dated to the early Iron Age, which in Britain was about 800 to 400 years BC. What this place lacks, however, in relative age compared to the Rollrights, it gains in relative scale. It is fortified with a single bank built of oolitic limestone and earth that encloses an area of about 3.5 acres. Standing in the centre now, that's where I entered the circle. You'll make out the banked up earth relative to the height of those old sheds. Scanning around the circle, it's difficult to capture on video the extent of the earthwork that I'm now standing in. But take my word for it, the banked earth is there. You'll just make out the raised earthwork, now topped by mature trees. Obviously worn down over hundreds of years. Nevertheless, the earthworks can still be seen rising up behind those old sheds there, and I pass through the fortifications as I leave. And only me here to see them. Thanks for joining me on today's ride into prehistory. As ever, it's good to have your company here in the Cotswold Hills. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please like, subscribe, perhaps even share. I'll then let you know when I'm next out and about. For now, I'm Dunn.